If you've been wasting oxygen on Wall Street bets as long as some have, your history with YOLOs probably fits into two neat little piles: losing every penny immediately, or losing every penny just slightly more embarrassingly. From hacking together infinite money glitches to lighting six figures on fire through zero DTE options, it's safe to say no one here has ever let common sense get in the way of a good catastrophe. Let's dive into the glorious wreckage. How did ControlTheNarrative carve his name into WSB infamy? Simple. He found a Robinhood glitch that let him borrow $50,000 without any actual money. No, seriously, this absolute lunatic used the platform's spaghetti code to yank 50 grand out of thin fucking air with a whopping $2,000 in his account. Like any rational maniac would, he went all in on Apple puts right before their earnings call. Because why not? Unfortunately for him, and very fortunately for us, Apple decided to bend the universe and smash earnings. The stock rocketed like Bezos' penis into the stratosphere. And our boy, he didn't just eat the loss in shame, he streamed it live, recording the exact second his soul yeeted out of his body. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the final wheeze as $50,000 in imaginary money evaporates into pure depression. This guy didn't just YOLO, he strapped explosives to his financial future and pressed the button himself. Pioneers like ControlTheNarrative didn't just lose money, they sacrificed brain cells, dignity, and any chance at a normal tax return to give us moments we'd tell our grandkids about. Assuming any of us breed, which, let's be honest, is unlikely. Speaking of degeneracy, back during the Corona apocalypse, the idea that WallStreetBets was some sort of noble army fighting evil hedge funds was hilarious. In reality, it was a blood orgy of clowns profiting off economic collapse. One such psychopath was a trader named Ifos Hayek, who smelled death on the breeze and did the only logical thing: slammed $150,000 into puts against Disney and Carnival, betting the family fun industry was about to get Epstein. He was right. Within days, his gamble blew up into $4 million. $4 million while normies stood in breadlines. At that point, a sane person would have cashed out, retired, and bought a small island. Not if I was Hayek. Instead, he stared at the biggest W of his life and said, "Nah, I'm good," holding onto those puts like a homeless man clutches a half-eaten Big Mac. Predictably, the Fed went brrr, stonks went vroom, and his $4 million became $20,000 faster than you can say PPP loan fraud peaked comedy. No notes. Despite the astronomical bag fumble, it was beautiful in the way only a WSB loss could be. Preventable, hilarious, and borderline suicidal. Then there's Anal Pharma, a 19-year-old with more cash than brain cells. Armed with $110,000 from an online business, he tossed it all into short-dated Align technology calls with expiration dates so close, it was basically scratch-off lotto. And miracle of miracles, Align popped on buyback news, doubling his money overnight. Most people would see $340,000 at 19 years old and quit while ahead. Not this guy. Anal Pharma realized $500,000 wasn't even close to enough for a proper WSB flex, so naturally he dumped $170,000 into SPY puts expiring the next morning. Mango Mussolini announced tariffs that tanked the market, and boom, Anal Pharma printed another $277,000 overnight. Sitting on $646,000, most people would have gone to therapy. Anal Pharma decided it was time to really let his retardation shine, so he YOLO'd $700,000 on SPY calls expiring in 24 hours. If you don't know options math, here's the Cliff's Notes. That's like playing Russian roulette with 5 bullets and 2 heads, $500,000 gone instantly. Left with $200,000, and you already know he kept firing. Slowly bleeding the account down to $40,000, somehow down 90%, the brainworm still told him, "You can fix this." So, he YOLO'd the last of it on a weed stock earnings play. Spoiler. He lost everything. A tragic, beautiful flameout like watching a pigeon fly into an industrial fan in slow motion. Now let's talk about WSBGod. In 2019, he bought $26,000 worth of Tesla calls expiring 2 years later, back when Tesla was trading at $50 and everyone thought Elon was about to get deported to Mars. Down 60%, he did what any certified artist would, doubled down. Somehow Tesla rocketed and his pile of trash turned into $1.3 million. Was that enough? Fuck no. This was Wall Street bets. He dumped another $120,000 into moonshot Tesla calls at a 1,000 strike. Everyone laughed. Tesla again decided physics was fake, and WSBGod's account ballooned to $4.5 million from a $40,000 starting point. There's some debate whether he faked it or not. Who cares? The journey was spiritual. And then there's Dejula, the king of borrowed money, bad ideas. After maxing 2 credit cards and a home equity line, he went balls deep into Tesla calls before the Cybertruck reveal. Of course, the Cybertruck was uglier than a meth addict's mugshot, and Tesla dropped 4% instantly. Dejula livestreamed the bloodbath, losing most of his borrowed money while we sipped Monster Energy and laughed. He got fired from his job right after because, of course, he did. Naturally, he decided the responsible adult move was to become a full-time options trader. Dejula YOLO'd again on Tesla and miraculously clawed back $200,000, enough to pay off the loans and buy buy a Model 3 to cry in. Moral of the story, if you lose all your borrowed money, double down. Not advice, just vibes. Finally, irony man. The guy's so dumb, he broke Robinhood itself. He tried to pull off a box spread arbitrage, something no one should ever attempt sober, and wound up losing 20 times his initial investment. Robinhood nuked box spreads platform-wide because of this one absolute unit. Imagine losing so hard a $10 billion company rewrites its code just to stop people like you from existing. Irony. Man didn't just lose money, he made history. And you can't talk about WSB legends without the guy who broke the internet, DeepF. He bet $50,000 on GameStop leaps when the company was worth less than your average Subway franchise. Armed with a cocktail of Adderall, Red Bull, and terminal optimism, he clung to his calls while everyone screamed bankruptcy, and somehow, against all odds, GameStop ripped. The infamous short squeeze sent GME from $4 to $400, turning DeepValue's $50,000 into over $40 million. Maybe he sells, maybe he rides it into the dirt. It doesn't even matter. DeepValue already secured a place in the pantheon of retards that somehow changed the world. WallStreetBets will forever be a monument to these reckless heroes, and to all the future degenerates out there foaming at the mouth with Robinhood margin enabled. Godspeed, you beautiful morons.